Light the beam! Light the beam! Light the beam! Light the beam!
Oh, yes. Light the beam bright. Welcome into another week of the Sports Cave with Biggest Puma. Back in our normal surroundings here on the greater north side of San Antonio. I am your host, Sam Freas, where we find ourselves 2 weeks away, 14 days from your Dallas Cowboys reporting to Oxnard. Where do the 49ers, where do the Niners do training camp?
We stay in Cali.
You do, right?
Yeah.
It would be highly ironic if y'all came like did
California.
San Antonio, like the Alamo Dome, back like the Cowboys did. Now that voice you hear, of course, is the Cap back with me. And the drops you hear are courtesy of the producer extraordinaire, none other than DJ LG in parts unknown, really just in a different room. Do we have a solid connect? I assume the drops always give me confidence.
Give you confidence?
When I hear a drop in the first 30 seconds of a show,
If it's a machine that doesn't think for itself, I have full confidence in
it means we probably have good connection with LG. LG, how are things in the other room?
Don't hate on our AI overlords.
Oh no, I will rebel. I will sign up for that rebellion, sir.
Yeah.
I think we need people like you. Yeah. Because then the AI will avoid people like me and LG.
How are we supposed to spread our seed?
Now we need you. AI is going to help you with that too. Actually, I bet.
Did you see that you can like pick your?
Of course,
thing?
of course.
I've been telling you, China's been doing this for years.
Of course, we had
how many basketball players drafted?
Well, I mean, I think
double the amount as the whole.
I think there's some. I think there's some obvious anecdotal evidence that would suggest it's probably been happening for a while. If you're not interested in 14 days till Cowboys report to Oxnard, can I interest you in?
Don't say it.
Today being the National Day of Rock and Roll. How much of a generic throwaway give up is that?
Can we just make it the National Day of Joan Jett or something?
Well, okay. All right. You don't like National Day of Rock and Roll? How about National Koi Day? You know, the little Japanese fish.
Those poor fish.
Wait, are koi? Koi are Japanese fish, right? Or,
yes.
Or do we just always assume, is that like an American thing? Like,
no, the koi.
Orange chicken isn't really Chinese food.
There's an
koi
old
fish.
Japanese proverb where the koi fish swims upstream to become a dragon. Or something like that.
Yeah, I was about to say, you sounded so confident until the dismount.
I don't know about the details on this.
The dismount is where you lost me. I was believing.
I learned that from the tattoo artists because they have to be, congruent and accurate with
They
things.
don't have to be. I've seen plenty of bad tattoos. No, this means warrior. Actually, it means...
It means your butthole.
Yeah, for lack of a better phrase. LG, tell the good people how they can help us out here before we get into some content tonight.
Of course, you can help us out by leaving a tip at buymeacoffee.com/sportscavelive, or you can really help us out right now by hitting that subscribe button on YouTube. For all of you, those of you watching on X right now, shout out to Jeff G at Ken's5 for retweeting our link today.
Good dude.
Please join us on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. You can go right back to Twitter and watch on Twitter, but hit that subscribe button on YouTube. That really helps us out.
Yeah, I saw we're still short of 400. We need to get. I will continue to remind people.
If we get 400 this episode.
Wait, hold on, everyone, brace yourself. No,
He's volunteering.
He's volunteering me. Oh yeah, that's not how this works. I thought we were about to have a shirtless Cap for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, man, I don't want to dip those numbers.
Yeah, the mass exodus of subscribers. We could just watch it in real time. LG could have a little counter going. There goes another. There goes another. And we could see the names, like seeing like my grandma unsubscribes or something.
What if your grandma bought me a coffee?
Hey, well now, then we would have a story. Then we would actually have some content to get to. No, I continue to remind people, it's YouTube subscriptions are absolutely free. So There are a lot of people that do what we're trying to do are dependent on, member only subscription or monthly charges. None of that. Just if you have a YouTube account, please give us a free subscription.
I did tell someone, I was like, once we get to 500 and get the super chat going, we're going to be interacting with the audience a whole lot more.
Yeah, and I want to get, at this point, the audience interaction, there's not much to interact about. Like we
haven't been pushing.
Well, I mean, sports-wise. Like, what are we going to do? Get hot sports opinions about Summer League? Like, we were watching 76ers versus Thunder earlier.
Someone brought up the best sports duo of all time, any sport. That's a thinker.
Okay.
That's a thinker.
I'd say Adrian Newey and Sebastian Vettel, probably.
I knew this was going to be hot here.
You're close.
Hockey?
Definitely foreign. That would be the height of Red Bull dominance in Formula One.
Oh, my God.
No, I want to get to 500 by football season.
Yeah.
Because Super Chats because we're going to talk
it's going
to
be
crap ton of football.
This is America.
In about a month and a half.
Football takes precedence, and I'm talking about one where you use your hands, not just your feet.
Well, ironically, we're going to talk about both types of football tonight because our main segment, we are starting our NFL division previews. I tried to start, just so you know, we'll do some housekeeping here. We're going to do NFC East last. Yeah. You had to know that was the case. But
of course.
In honor of your participation in the program here, we'll do NFC West second to last.
Okay.
So the last week of our previews.
You didn't want to do NFC East right before the Hall of Fame game?
No. I want to see if Cavante Turpin is going to get out of prison, or if Frisco PD has.
He doesn't have a charge. He should be already popped out.
He's fine. We're going to talk about that in the lightning round. No, we got to talk about the USA-Mexico game in a little weekend sports recap too. But we are starting with the least appealing, in my opinion, of the NFL divisions. That is the AFC East. How's that? What a great way to promote and sell the main segment.
Us. Let's talk Jaguars football.
Yeah, we're gonna talk. Will the Jets be able to pass their Vegas win projections of 5.5? That will be our main segment
you said
tonight.
East or West?
East.
Well, Vegas isn't East.
No, I'm saying the Vegas projections,
Vegas. Okay,
gambling. Yeah.
God, man, them having a team just blow.
It's
that
very
kind of
odd.
like it makes it. Yeah.
Just wait till the NBA team gets there as well, because that's only probably 2 or 3 years away. I know we've been riffing and joking a lot about these national days, and it's fun.
It's fun.
It's fun. But
it's for the good ones. It's good awareness, but some of them are just.
Well, we have Pride Disability Day coming up Thursday, as Chip Carey let us know about. Cardinals will be doing a giveaway for that. So I
don't
joked.
know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again.
I joked it was National Day of Rock and Roll, and also somehow National Koi Day. On top of that, it's National Dive Bar Day.
Ooh.
And National Macaroni Day, National Strawberry Sundae Day.
How many? You can't get.
We're still going. We're still going.
Can't get 5 of them.
This is the biggest giveaway. This is the biggest throwaway of all of them. National Father-Daughter Take a Walk Day. So
what?
That's
what was
the
that?
one. That's the one that should be. That should be that day.
6 days.
Take a walk day with your daughter. That's good, wholesome family values.
I find that incredibly exclusive because.
If you need a
exclusionary because I don't have a daughter and I would like to be involved in the daily celebration.
We'll go snatch you
I
up
also
a kid.
didn't have a dad that would take me on a walk. So now you're picking at old scabs.
Man, you're going to make me cry over here.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, nationaldaycalendar.com.
Thanks, made up holiday day guy.
I wasn't a daughter, so I didn't have to worry about National Take a Walk Day
with that hair.
That would have been my grandpa. It was like, you look like you would need to take a walk as a daughter. National Father-Daughter Take a Walk Day.
My dad's listening right now. He's like, I'm going to try to stay up and listen. Yes, he tells me I look like a girl with my hair.
Wait, stay up and listen?
Dude, he goes to bed like at 6:30, man.
What?
When Golf Channel's done, he's down.
How do you
I
watch?
guess you just have to go wake him up now, won't you?
I don't know
You
how.
said that about Big T. You gonna have to answer to him, Lawrence.
I don't know how I could ever go to sleep before 8 o'clock. Just sports viewing wise.
Well, we'll revisit that when you're like 68 years old.
Oh man, you think it's cute? I'm happy you think I'm gonna make it to almost 70.
You
That's
think
adorable.
I didn't say that too? And then I'm 42, trying to hold on.
Well, give it.
Yeah,
You've still
we'll
got
try.
26 more years to get to.
Yeah.
No, look, this one is obviously starting in a. There's no good way to do a weekend recap on this Monday. I mean, it's as we sit here now. I mean, I think the official death toll in across our state is over 100, and it's not, obviously what we have been impacted here in our area, but that whole storm stretched all the way up to San Angelo. Yeah. So I mean, San Angelo is experiencing catastrophic flooding and death all through that, San Angelo, Mason Junction, Kerrville line, and then all the way curling over to, Austin, Leander.
And by now, everybody's seen how fast that, like, I'm sure we've all seen that river crossing where.
Oh, the time-lapse video?
The cops were on the bridge and how fast that. Man, that's just, it's sad to see, man. I don't know if I went to camp one year as a kid, and it's always by a river, and that's what
makes camp fun.
Yeah.
You look forward, that's what you look forward to, is random
stuff.
Jumping on the blob and getting launched into the river.
I didn't go to an expensive camp. We didn't have a blob.
What? A blob? That's not. Blob.
We had a rope swing.
Oh, that's personally, I would say that's even better. We
a little bit of danger in that one.
Yeah, no, it's fun danger.
Heart goes out, man, and also to all the first responders, man, having to deal with doing that job has got to be the worst thing I could possibly think of, because you're sitting there just you're not really looking for life at this time.
Yeah,
you're looking for closure to families hurt and devastation. And it's a thankless job. I mean, it's thankful, but like when you're not doing something like this, it's a thankless job, and you're not really talked about and on the same level as other people who risk their lives and do, civil acts. But this is why we live in a society of, people that help people. Like, we don't want any of this to happen. None of us do. Doesn't matter political lines, race, gender, nothing. Like, this is just sad all around, and everybody's reeling from it.
Yeah, there's, if you missed the episode, the roommate and I put out over the weekend, we were supposed to record Friday, and it was 4th of July, and at that point it was starting, because the flooding initially was Friday morning, right?
Yeah.
Okay. As we were...
I think it's started 3 a.m.
Yeah, and really within half an hour, less than half an hour.
Yeah, that's 30 feet up.
Yeah, and campsite's gone, building's gone.
And trust me, you're not awake at 3 o'clock in the morning on the camp. Very rarely, probably the last day of camp, we would try to stay up.
Yeah, I'm going to stay up all night.
But we're exhausted from activities and being in the sun, especially in this heat.
It's as the roommate and I were, super excited about putting out, a Friday episode, bringing back Who Won the Internet. I don't know, it felt trivial to try to play, pop culture grab ass while
levity and laughter.
It didn't. As the weekend proceeded, I'll peel the curtain back a little bit. Steph talked about it, last night on the episode we put out. Her parents live. I think she said they ended up it's 1.7 miles from the Guadalupe, and they live on the Waring side, the welfare Waring side of Comfort, so the other side of I-10, and they were far enough removed that there wasn't the threat of their safety being in danger.
Yeah.
But now they're, kind of in that stretch where a lot of the recovery and rescue operations are going on. So,
I bet getting in and out of there is just a hassle.
Yeah,
And having to deal with.
Yeah, it's one of those, you don't want to get in their way.
Yeah.
But you also want to go out and see your parents, see your in-laws, talk to them, make sure everything's okay. And then, I would be lying if there wasn't, not perverse nature, but the side of me that I wanted to see it with my own eyes, because I've seen that river my whole life. I've floated every part of the Guadalupe from, being a Texas State student, living in San Marcos, to now living in San Antonio and hitting, parts further up near Canyon Lake that I had never gotten on before.
It would give you some, perspective in life in itself and stuff. It's not like you're sitting there trying to go when it's 30 feet high and the destruction's happening and you're getting in the way just to go check it out.
Yeah.
That's totally different.
Yeah. So,
to go see that and pay respect to it. And, Mother Nature, I mean, as cruel as it can be, it's an amazing ecosystem that,
and that's,
volcanoes are awesome, but they also take
but they're
out
also
whole
catastrophic.
towns.
Exactly. There were a lot of people, and I don't want to sit here and pick and choose who we, call out or attack about takes on, anybody that is making this in any way political theater is just go to hell. It's
Both
that simple.
sides,
But it doesn't matter.
I got no time for it.
No time. Are there legitimate, does there need to be questions asked about why the Texas legislator didn't pay for sirens when they had the opportunity in 2017 when a bill got killed? Yeah, let's ask those questions. But
could it have helped this one? Maybe not.
Right.
It could have mattered anyway. But those are questions that need to be asked. But at a later time, let's get through this.
Yeah.
Let's get some closure for some families.
And
let's get
if
the cleanup.
compassion is not your first instinct right now, then just don't put anything out there.
Yeah.
Because that's really compassion and action are the two things that are needed right now. And posting a snarky comment about the Spurs not donating when they an hour later donate. So that just doesn't help anybody,
Nobody's
or posting a snarky comment about how, I saw all of the Democrat influencers that's what these people get. That's what they voted for.
Yeah.
That's what they deserve. And it's dude, these are kids. Kids, you got to be 18 to vote. These kids didn't vote for jack shit.
And
I have voted for both parties in random elections in my life. That doesn't mean I deserve this because I voted Democrat one time more than I did Republican.
It's the same thing with the
all of
wildfires.
that's so stupid.
The wildfires in Cali, where I sit there and tell them, they're like, "This isn't the time," and I'm like, "Keep that same energy when it doesn't happen right down the street from us." And I don't want to keep nobody's perfect. I made a comment where it was just a little fake news, little photograph, and it just really irked me that we can't trust certain people in high up places to be empathetic to research.
Again,
to
compassion.
Do that. And then I had to
and action.
I had to sit there and take responsibility for myself, and I said I shouldn't have done that, man. I'll let me explain myself and what really happened. And this was, in my view, political theater. And even though you meant it as a good thing, and I know you do, and I love this person, I made the snarky comment, and I was like, you know what, I'm not above anybody else for being an asshole. You know what I'm saying?
No, it really is. I mean, I think, without getting too deep into the theory of how we got where we find ourselves when it comes to our fighting over everything, as it's the fact that there's just no accountability for anything anymore. So if you spout off ignorance, it's okay. It's out there. We move on. There's no account to be called.
Saying sorry, and
that's a weakness now for a lot of people, and that's unfortunate.
I was wrong. I'm I
I saw it was the liberal pediatrician in Houston who put stuff out You know, all of the children and non-MAGA voters, I hope you're safe. Everyone else, you get what you... And it's like, who does that help? Who does that... Like,
That's ugly.
That's ugly. Yeah. And
I want no part of that person.
Unfortunately...
I hope that person's business goes to shambles now.
Absolutely. Like, we've gotten way too comfortable being ugly to each other, and it always is the ugliest when there is tragedy. That's the worst thing about it. So, all of that being said... You know, I mentioned the roommate Steph's parents up in Comfort area, and you know, Saturday we were debating. You know, do we want to drive out there? Do we want to record? You know, the watching. You know, I put a snarky story out because I was watching my normal Saturday quad box, and I had all the local channels on. And Ken's was the only channel that wasn't going wall to wall with coverage. They were showing the PGA Tour event, and it was Saturday. It was moving day. It wasn't even final round. Yeah. So, you know, of course, I pop off something like, well, what are we even doing here, Ken's? You know, like even Sinclair is running full. But then as soon as I do that, I get responses from some people that are like, hell yeah, call them out. And then I get responses from other people like, well, the other stations are just doing it for ratings anyway. They don't actually care. And it's just like everything
you just made a line when we need to not make a line.
Right,
we need
exactly.
We need to make a circle around us, sir.
My elementary...
Give each other hugs.
My elementary school teacher mother would love that analogy. You just less lines, more circles. That just sounds like such a elementary school teacher thing to say. But... You know, we
don't trust me with your kids.
Saturday, God no. Saturday, you know, we decided still, you know, let's. I personally, I mean, as more of the stories started coming in, and you know, hearing from her parents of what it looked like out there. I had no desire to record talking about Joey Chestnut eating 70 hot dogs and returning. So we ended up recording last night, and you know, we did it after Sunday morning. We got up, drove out to her parents, and without without getting in the way, you know, just tried to see what we could out there by their house. Didn't drive anywhere, you know, close to Kerr or anything like that, or hunt or anything where the bulk of the devastation took place. But, you know, just being out there, and, you know, in the first 10 minutes, there's 3 helicopters that have buzzed the house, you know, flying low to try to see anything. And then just seeing, you know, their stretch of the river, what it, you know, the wreckage that it caused and all the debris and personal everything it left. I think seeing it on TV definitely can give you more than enough to understand how bad it is.
It gives you 60% of the story.
1,000%.
Like, or 40% of the story.
And then
60% of the story, if you see that with your own eyes, you're just like, oh my God, it's more devastating than I could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And the TV doesn't do it justice.
Yeah, it's well said. It was, you know, where I grew up, you know, we have 3 rivers, you know, that flowed through our tiny little town, Brazos, Biloxi, and Squaw Creek. And, you know, there was a lot of, you know, one summer, when I was a kid, we had, we lived in a house by the river, and, you know, all river rose, you know, everything outside got swept. You know, a ice freezer, you know, like a, you know, old country freezer full of meat and random stuff, floated like it weighed absolutely nothing. So like that, I was probably 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there, you know, under 10 when that happened. And that, like, remembering the fear of going through that as a kid, it was, it was really, really, really hard to watch.
Because you're thinking probably as a kid, like, I want to go in there and swim and stuff like that. And
until you see the fear of your parents, like until you see their reaction. And that was the moment where it went from, I'm about to ride this refrigerator down the Biloxi, to my mom's acting like we might not
Yeah, because they know
Make it.
there's trees underneath there that could take you out and keep you under and all this stuff. And like there is for all you youngins that listen to us, there is worthwhile and experience and wisdom in us old people. And speaking of
Well,
it,
and I would still say a 39-year-old and a 42-year-old could also remember that as well.
Oh, yeah.
When you're talking about a 59-year-old and a 62-year-old.
Exactly.
You know, there's still, it doesn't matter how a 62-year-old could learn from an 82-year-old. There's always time to stop and listen and learn.
I've always said you got one mouth, two ears. Shut up and listen.
That's another good elementary. You would have made a good elementary school teacher, apparently.
I got phrases for days.
Now,
man.
you mentioned the going to camp as a kid. You know, that was the other thing of it. Reading the stories specifically. You know, like summers for me were church camp. And, like a Bible Beach bash and Boy Scout camp.
Yeah.
And so, to hear, what was it, like 11 camps are right there on that one bend of the river. They all know each other. I
don't remember what camp I went to, but it was like 8 to 9 camps. And like across the river was the girls' camp. We had the boys' camp.
And that's the same way it was for us up in North Texas.
And there was probably 1,000 to 1,500 boys there that we only stayed for a week. So like every week they would pile in. And then the whatchamacallit, the people,
like the counselors?
The counselors,
Yeah.
they're 15, 16-year-old kids, 17-year-old kids.
And
specifically,
I talked about it. I won't rehash all of it, but last night, talked a lot about the or not a lot, but talked about the two camp counselors that were Eagle Scouts at the Boy Scout camp at the La Junta, however you say it. It was their heroism that helped clear some of those cabins as they were literally floating down the river, swimming down and getting kids up off that were underwater. And just thinking, like when I was 17 years old, working on my Eagle Scout service project, the final requirement of getting this achievement, there was still never one thought in my life where I thought, I'm getting this achievement so that I can be a hero, or so I can be the guy that saves people because of what I know. And then thinking about those two kids, the two of them Eagle Scouts, actually using the skills they learned at the camp to save the kids at the camp.
And the fact to be so cool, and like half the stuff that these, that first responders go through is being cool under pressure.
Yeah.
It is so easy to hyperventilate, have a panic attack, frozen in fear, fight or flight, or instead they sit there, assess the situation, find out what's best to go through, and we rely on those people. And to have these two kids step up and be heroes and assess the situation and save lives, that's amazing.
And there's so many stories of that. I think he was either not Coast Guard, but what do they call it? The reserve. The kid
the coastal.
That had it was his first rescue mission.
Oh yeah,
the helicopter kid, and he ends up saving 170 something people on his first actual You've been trained to do this. Now is your time.
What was the
and
crazy?
He stepped up.
The craziest was he was out of comms for 3 hours. He couldn't talk. The copter couldn't talk to anybody for 3 hours. They were just sitting there picking up kids, dropping them off, picking them up, dropping them off, and they couldn't tell if there was another round of like blackout rain coming in, like another, anything, lightning storm that could take them down.
Right.
Like 3 hours.
Well, I think they're about to get more, God forbid,
Yeah.
I think they're about to get more heavy weather again tonight, potentially. Another flood warning.
Thoughts out for them, man.
Yeah, I said it last night.
Positive vibes.
If you are the praying type, pray. If you are the thinking type, send thoughts. Because, again, compassion and action.
Yeah.
That's what's needed. Not snarkiness, ourselves, victim, fault, admittedly.
Just empathy. Just have
empathy.
some empathy.
Exactly. And I say the action because the one that, iHeart has gotten in touch with, because also, unfortunately, as things are now, you want to make sure you're sending, if you're going to donate money, you want to make sure it's going to somewhere that's vetted and is actually going to get directly into the hands of people in Kerr County, in Hunt, in, like the family from Midland that were just visiting for 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure these, any donation gets to the people that actually need it most. And, communityfoundation.net is directly connected to city of Kerrville and that swath of the hill country.
And they'll know where to send it. Those people vet.
They know the best.
They know
the best because it's their neighbors.
And a lot of small businesses, man. I'm telling you, I know Slackers is doing something.
Yeah, Slackers got multiple.
They vet them, So there's a lot of small businesses that that are stepping up.
I saw Dogfather doing 100% proceeds on a specific dog or going.
Yeah, so you buy the special dog, 100% of the proceeds that day is going straight to that foundation.
And
we're gonna vet, and that's we take everybody takes responsibility as a small business owner to make sure that we're not just doing all this and just making it like a virtual thing. You gotta be.
Yeah. No,
a special kind of D-bag.
There's a special
virtue signal over something like this.
Well, without being, this is where I find myself in this, not a oxymoron, a paradox. This is the paradox I find while I don't believe in hell, I hope there is a special place in hell.
I believe in karma
for anybody that would be trying to scam any donations or anything right now.
And
you deserve
they're out there.
Yeah, of course they are. Of course they are. They walk amongst us. So again, I would, one that I feel comfortable pushing people to, if you can donate, please go to communityfoundation.net. All of that money will stay in the community that needs it most, up there in Kerrville, broader Kerr County. It's, obviously, I knew, the 4th of July weekend, it took a backseat to all of this. So
I didn't do anything.
Yeah. Besides all of that, my weekend recap was I watched a lot of Oasis concert footage because, we were in the house, weren't going anywhere. And, the Gallagher brothers had their comeback reunion concert first two nights in Cardiff.
Me and my brother, man. I don't know when our reunion tour is going to come back, but I'm just playing. We argue. We can't. Some people have real tight brothers. Some people have brothers like me and my brother. We talk once a year.
I think I have the best. I think I have potentially the best setup when it comes to that because I don't know. My little brother might tell you completely different. He might say, "No, there's that. The reason we don't talk is because of the beef." I
didn't know there was a little Puma.
Oh yeah, no. He is. So you see this.
Yeah.
He is basically the antithesis of that. He's like 5'10", CrossFit body, financial, stock manager, financial.
Wow.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Went to seminary.
That's
good, strong man of
That's
God.
not me and my brother.
A man of faith.
That's right.
I was the tall, athletic, and I let myself go. But I was a tall, athletic, doing good in school and blah, blah, blah. And I think my dad thought I was going to be like the stockbroker type or whatnot. And my brother went to Austin to go be weird. And he's a short, 5'6",
A local screwball.
Sure. Yeah. Goins knows him.
I feel like I had the benefit of my parents kind of early on being like, look, I don't know what this kid's going to do, but it's not going to be what we're hoping. It's like he'll be fine, but he's not going to be.
He's got to find his own path.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, no, it was, besides, Ozzy or Oasis concert, watched a bunch of the performances from the Ozzy farewell too. So
nice. Didn't Sharon Osbourne say that she nixed one band from there?
Who was it? Which one?
I don't know, man. I don't know. In fact, she said, I saw on a headline that she said one band couldn't come to his farewell tour. Let's see if you can pull that up.
I wonder. Just
on it.
Taking guesses, trying to think of who she would. Oh, yeah, that potentially would be.
They seem like.
Whoa, Sharon looks.
Yeah, plastic surgery.
Yeah, that's quite a bit of
when plastic surgery
goes
wrong.
Surgery. See, this is the problem with headline clickbait articles like that, because
I just don't want to click on it to get in that algorithm. I'm like, I don't want more of this.
Yeah,
but, I did read it, and I'm like, Ozzy.
I don't think she has revealed the actual band, but she did say one of them.
How are you gonna say that and not give us the band? You're not give us the You're gonna give us a little morsel, but not the full meal.
Because it'll get a dozen headlines, right? And got you to mention it now. Yeah,
fell for it.
It works.
Fell for that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk some weekend sports here next, but if y'all, there was no way we could open the show with anything other than this. Even though the roommate and I talked about. Basically did the same segment last night because it's just devastating. That's the only
it's
word.
Not done. It's not done.
No, unfortunately.
This is going to be months, especially with more rain coming. It's going to be months of fallout that we're going to learn, and just hang in there, folks.
Yeah, if you can do something, do something. If you're not able, financially to do something, send those. Just keep it top of mind.
Just hug your loved ones.
Yeah,
man.
Keep it top of mind.
Some people aren't able to do that at this moment.
Well said. I think on that note, there's no good transition or interstitial, as I learned last night as we were trying to spin out of.
So a man got shot. I'm just playing.
I think we just found the perfect interstitial. Well, the man that got shot in old days, it would have been that Mexican defender that put his hand on the ball inside the box. That should have been a penalty, like Andres Escobar when he got shot for a handball.
Oh my God, dude! How did he not get that handball? We're talking, of course, of CONCACAF Gold Cup finale. Mexico and U.S. It was a crowd worthy of a World Cup, in my opinion.
Not just that, not just the crowd in the building. It was the most watched Gold Cup telecast in English language U.S. history.
Wow.
3.7 average, 3.73 million, peaked at 5.2 million. So at peak, over 5 million people watched that game. And I joke about the hand. I don't think that should have been called, because I don't think there's. I think you're asking the player to just face plant into the grass.
You can roll.
Yeah.
These guys sit there and jump and roll in the air all the time, off of non-contact. And I'll tell you, that ref let that game go.
It was until he didn't. So
until he didn't. And
the
it's
start
like,
of the
how
game,
are you going to do that?
He called 5 fouls in the first 8 minutes. And then it felt like it was a 30-minute gap before he called anything again.
Shirt pulling down, kicking his shins.
Yeah, Adjamain he was just getting, anytime he would try to hold up, the striker,
pulling his shirt.
They were just pulling him down. Yeah, which, again,
if they're not calling it, keep doing it.
Exactly. And when when you don't have the physical advantage, you got to pull shirts.
How big how big those two when they're doing the
yeah.
corner kick, and he's sitting there trying to use his wrestling skills by putting his head on.
Oh yeah,
and
little
stuff.
Berhalter.
Yeah,
Yeah, little Berhalter.
That little fella he'll take me down.
He had a great service into the box on that first goal.
Yeah.
But he was, for the most part, pretty lost, non-factor against that.
Before we get into play, let's learn something from this as a nation to not look like fools during the World Cup. Do not do pyrotechnics with enclosed environments, so we have to watch a hazy
Oh, I think you're going to lose that battle.
Oh my God, man. Like, are you joking me?
It's so annoying.
That was the dumbest thing. I was like, no offense. I got a little, man, you got not in here there, LG. It was just like, come on, man. And then the turf. We can't put real grass over AstroTurf. We got 2 billionaires. Suck it up. Buy real grass. Enough said.
Yeah. The amount of slipping.
Those are the 2 big complaints I had, because the slipping, the pyrotechnics, it killed me. I'm like, are you joking me? We're on world stage. Everybody's watching this, and we're laughing stocks right now.
Well, we're CONCACAF, man. Like it's like we can
be better.
There's a beauty.
We do better.
There's a beauty to it, and then there's another side. Majority of the time, it's the other side, but it's the shithousery that at times. Like, we're not a soccer nation. So, like,
you love it.
I kind of do, yeah.
Like, yeah, this ain't the English league.
Yeah, because it kind of shows the rest of the world can kind of look at that. But then it makes it even better when we actually beat someone from UEFA or CONMEBOL.
It does not make it better. I disagree with that, sir.
No, I think at the end of the day, Mexico brought their A team, and the U.S. had a combination of a couple A's, mostly B's, and even a few C's.
I think we're going to have
half that team.
2 or 3, or 2 of them were in our A team.
Yeah,
and then
pretty
probably
much.
like two.
Chris
two
Richards,
more,
Malik Tillman.
Yeah, 2 more could possibly move to our A team.
No, I think some guys.
This.
I think some guys absolutely made their case for, like, Diego Luna.
Yeah,
it'd be hard. It'd be really, really hard to keep him off.
Undersized. It's just that's the killer.
Yeah, that's also it. It's the it's what created his mentality to be that junkyard dog that he is,
to create opportunities.
But it also
slip through.
Yeah, it's I mean, he a great option off the bench next summer during the World Cup.
But I'll take him with 65 minutes to go.
Oh, absolutely.
Having all that
30
energy.
minutes, run it out. Like, just go balls out for half an hour. And potentially he could be a game changer. But, you mentioned that Mexico team, outside of maybe 2 or 3 players, that's their World Cup team for next year.
That's what you're going to see on the field. And they barely beat us.
Well, it was... The score line was barely, but they dominated that. I mean, they had possession 2/3 to our 1/3.
They looked more physical. They looked faster.
They looked more connected and build up plays.
Which makes sense.
Of course, right. And this is, I say all this.
We just showed grit. We showed that American grit.
And look,
and I like it.
That has been when the U.S. achieved their highest highs in my lifetime. It was when grit was the number one attribute. This quote unquote golden generation they have now, what has been missing for a lot of those players is that old school American grit.
Yeah.
So I think, as much as I usually tend to disagree, first of all, Alexi Lawless with the cowboy hat.
That was the ugliest
come
thing
on,
I've ever
dude.
seen.
Like
redheads,
you couldn't be more dime store cowboy than that.
There's a reason why they call it a redheaded stepchild.
That's correct. But I will give him credit. I think the way he framed it, the way he kind of laid it out as guys like Pulisic and some of the like Weston McKennie, some of these guys that are playing in the Club World Cup, as they are reintegrated into the first team national team. The expectation now is that everyone play with the grit we saw in the Gold Cup. That's the And Pochettino has made it pretty clear that is the baseline expectations. The skill you bring to the team is awesome. It's great.
Yeah.
But if you're not playing with this kind of intensity and grit and care, he talked about like seeing some of a lot of those dudes for the U.S., that was their first time playing Mexico.
Oh,
Much
yeah,
less
they don't realize
with those, with the trophy on the line, and to Berhalter, one of them, to see some of those kids actually crying over a Gold Cup loss, that's a good thing. Yeah. And Pochettino said so himself. It means it's as clear as it can be to show that they actually give a damn. They actually care.
Way more good takeaways than negatives.
Yeah, I think for sure. Mexico should have won that game 3-1 or potentially worse, just as much as they controlled the possession and created good opportunities.
Barely onside. I'm talking like if that defender was paying attention.
Well, that's Antonio Freeman's kid too.
Oh, really?
Tyler Freeman, former Packer wide receiver.
Yeah.
That's his son. He's 20 years old.
And he knew it.
He's
he paid
just
attention.
learning.
Because they
or not just learning, but that's getting to the level of
that's
national
a soccer
team.
play to pull your line up to make those people off sides, and he just was half an inch. Which, if you're going to use VAR, can we just let the technology do it for us like we do in Wimbledon and every other tennis match?
Yeah, what do they call it?
There's not enough money generated in the Gold Cup.
Well,
so to get the exact precise,
you saw how empty some of those stadiums were in the group stages. But with 5 million people watching, they can charge more for advertising next iteration. So all of it is to build up for next summer. Next summer is going to be awesome.
Yeah,
assuming every team can travel with all of their foreign players to play in the World Cup, but it's going to be awesome.
How much money we're going to generate in revenue, and that just goes to taxes to help fund our country. There's no way, man. We can't mess this up.
No, I would assume, especially as much as the Trumpster's been having. He, head of FIFA was visiting the White House.
Oh, he bought enough meme coins to get this done.
he knows the money involved. He's not going to let that go to waste. But obviously, great showing for Mexico, win the tournament. Great showing for USA. The question really is, is the hype of Canada being, having they've got a lot of.
Are they getting old, or is this like
no? I mean,
they just had a bad day.
Their best player was not with them because of the Club World Cup. Actually, I think he was injured. He wasn't even playing with Bayern either. But they were missing some pieces. They were kind of like the U.S. They were fielding a mix of A, B, and some C, option C team guys. But still
probably scouting some bench players.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what this. I'd say it again. Mexico brought their World Cup squad to this tournament to all play together and prep for next year. The USA and Canada are using some opportunities to see some fringe roster guys and see, like you meant, like Diego Luna. He made his case. I think he is on the national team next year. Yeah. There's some other guys on that roster that even though showed they're not ready for a World Cup.
Even though you're sour on your cousin, Freas. Even though you're sour, like they were talking like the goalkeeper is not solidified.
Oh, absolutely not. No, I don't think he's the best. He's not the best talent-wise of the group, but right now the U.S., their most talented options are backups in Europe. They're not getting consistent playing time. So
that's what.
But we've got a year to change that. Like Matt Turner made a transfer. We'll see if he is still going. If he gets any, reclaims any of his value.
Matt Turner. I forgot it.
Yeah, Matt Turner didn't even start playing soccer till he was 16. No,
does he play baseball?
He did. That was his favorite sport, actually. All in all, Gold Cup turned out to be way more entertaining than I honestly was
Yeah.
expecting at the beginning of it. So, vamos Mexico taking another trophy. Back-to-back Gold Cup wins now from Mexico.
I think that's the third time they've done that.
Yeah, it's their 10th or 11th Gold Cup win overall, I think.
Yeah.
10th, maybe.
It's usually theirs to lose, but
Yeah, they're still...
I think they brought their A squad because they have underperformed in other, like, over the past, like, I think since last World Cup and even before that. Like, U.S. was, like, beating Mexico 5-0 in, like, another CONCACAF tournament.
Yeah, there had
and
been
stuff
some...
like that. And it was just like, they said, F it.
We're not taking chances.
Yeah, we're coming to get this one. And
I still think with both teams fielding their A lineups, I think the U.S. has a slight edge in terms of overall talent. But Mexico, when they bring their A team, it doesn't matter if you're Argentina, England, or USA. That's a tough team to beat just because of the mentality they play with. So,
and what kills me is
I'm excited to see World Cup games in Mexico next year. Next year we'll get
They're going to be in Mexico City up in that altitude.
I believe so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Azteca is a host site. Almost positive.
Man, they better not play during the middle of the summer. They're gonna fall out.
Well, unfortunately,
they're gonna fall out, man.
The World Cup is.
I guess if they survive Qatar, they might be able to survive.
Well, those they did. They air conditioned those stadiums when they built them. Yeah, it's Mexico's getting. You're getting
with all those slaves.
Mexico City, Guadalajara, and Monterrey. So
yeah,
Monterrey is a beautiful, beautiful stadium. That'll be an awesome World Cup setting. Meanwhile, we'll have games in Cowboys Stadium and Giants Jets Stadium and non-soccer stadiums like Houston, NRG, where we can bitch about the pitch.
Mr. Terrier ACL Giants Stadium.
Man, speaking of, we're going to talk a little bit of Club World Cup in the lightning round, but did you see the Bayern kid have his fibula snapped?
Yeah, I don't like watching that stuff.
I watched it one time, and at first I didn't realize. I was like, oh, that doesn't look that bad. And then I saw the direction as ankle, and I was like, good Lord. Like, immediate nausea.
That was like, what was it? Paul George when he snapped it on that fever.
Or Gordon Hayward. Yeah. Or, hell, even you got to hope it's a cramp.
Trying to keep my lunch down. All right.
I feel like you were intentionally prolonging Gold Cup talk because you might not want to.
I looked at the chat. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
So what happened this weekend? Do you have 55 to 60 seconds to tell us about it?
Give me a minute. All right. Aaron Judge still does what he does. Smash home runs and hits balls. And he's about to catch up on your boy, Raleigh. Oh, he's the best thing ever since sliced bread.
Not my boy.
Aaron Judge is still there. He's still coming through. Bellinger made one of the most spectacular double plays I've ever seen in my life against the Mets. Shoestring catch where if he misses it, that's a triple, if not an inside the park home run, and then doubles up the runner on first base. Amazing defense, which is not what we've been doing on this slump. Yes, we lost 4 in a row to the Blue Jays.
There it is.
Hey, you shut your mouth. This is my minute. We lost 4 in a row to the Blue Jays, and they are now leading the division. But we are all, we're a mutter. We like to run from the back. Our mutters were mothers. Mutters are mutters and mothers are mutters. So we coming back with a vengeance.
I mean, what? You're only...
Mark Smith went down with the... Clay Smith... what was it? Mike Smith went down with the torn ACL or Tommy John surgery. So that's number 4 starting pitcher out for us.
Yeah, well, again, it's...
number 4.
As my Rangers continue,
and we are better than your Rangers,
to not be able to get back to 500. They're like the Rangers are 4-8 in games that if they had won, it would get them back to 500.
I got some for you, Robert.
They can't get over that hump, and I think we're getting. I will say, we had the all-star teams announced, and when you're 2 games under 500, I don't think you can bitch about all-star snubs.
No.
But
Who got snubbed on your end?
potentially, I would say Uvalde. His WAR is better than 3 of the starting pitchers that were actually chosen for the team, including the Mariners in the division, Brian Wu, or Framber Valdez for that point, also in the division.
You see the Pirates pitcher, the one that has he just got ahead of Max Free for the Yankees for ERA.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like 5-7, and my guy's like 10 wins.
But that's where I'm a firm believer of don't ever look at a starting pitcher's win-loss record. Because when you're pitching on the Pirates, the fact that you've won 5 of those games is a miracle. I mean, they have half as many wins as the Yankees, so numbers would say if he was on the Yankees, he would be 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 wins. I think the Uvalde one.
Something different when you put on those pinstripes there, buddy.
Ask
any ball player.
Ask
any ball player. They say the same thing.
I'll give you that. So Uvalde's 1.75 ERA. Now, granted, he missed a month, which I think hurts his case a little bit through injury.
1.75. That's not his ERA.
Yes, it is. Yes,
it
is.
Or is it since?
No, that's
beginning
this
of May?
season. 77 innings pitched, 1.75
so what,
ERA.
you have to have like a minimum of 75?
Well, there's no. I mean, he's at the minimum to be an ERA leader. Like, he hasn't missed enough time to be removed from consideration for awards. But 27 starting pitchers have posted a 1.75 ERA or better in the first 14 starts of their season since 1995. So basically, there's been 27 guys that have had a 1.75 ERA in the first half of the season since 1995.
I'm checking you right now.
3 of those guys, Tim Wakefield in 95, who
I remember a Wakefield.
Right, but in 95 he wasn't converted to a starter until like mid-May. So he wasn't starting the first month and a half of the season. But the only other pitcher besides Uvalde is Al Leiter in 1998, which is kind of funny because Al Leiter's kid is now a pitcher for the Rangers, starting in the same rotation as Uvalde. So like that's where I mentioned his 2.5 WAR. I read this in the Dallas Morning News earlier today.
I guess because
he's 8th best among AL starters in WAR. And he's ahead of 3 pitchers that are on the All-Star team. Kikuchi, Brian Wu, like I mentioned, and Shane Smith. Which Shane Smith is an All-Star because someone on the White Sox has to be an All-Star.
No, they don't.
They still have that rule, right?
Do they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Every team gets an All-Star.
God.
Yeah, because they,
pussification.
1,000%. That's where the conservatives are actually onto something. But also, it's we didn't give ourselves orange slices and Little Debbie snacks after games. Y'all gave us the participation trophies. Why do you act like it was us that wanted that? Yeah. It was you that gave them to us.
We didn't say, "Hey, I want a trophy," and you could have said no.
No, and in fact, you taught us when we were kids when we asked, "How come we didn't get a trophy for first place?" And they said, "Well, everyone gets the same trophy." Yeah. So again, you want to bitch about us being the problem. We didn't do it to ourselves. We didn't raise ourselves. I
remember being a little league coach, like I was the parent coach and stuff. It wasn't the kids running up to yell at me. It was their parents.
Of course.
Crying like little.
Of course it is.
And I'm like, dude, I was like, you're showing your kid you're weak. I'm like, yeah, I benched your kid. Your kid's sitting there out there picking daisies.
God, I would.
You know what I'm saying?
Again, imagining you as either an elementary school teacher or like a 7th grade B team coach.
hey man, I'm like it's effective. It's kind of like it's like the pimp game. You got to give them the hand sometime.
Okay, yeah.
But then you
Like,
build them up
so
to break
we're-
them down.
we're
To build them
comparing
up to mold them to what you
coaching
want.
youth sports
Is like the pimp game.
to pimping ain't dead. It just moved to the web. Okay, all right.
Is Wayne Brady going to have to choke a bitch?
Yeah,
I
I'm not
swear.
sure, Wayne. I'm not sure. No, are y'all even still in second place after the weekend?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Shut up.
No,
Barely. I think we're tied.
Oh, okay. Well,
We didn't play today, which, hey, give us a break, man. We had one day off, and we had about over 20 games played in a row, and one game off in like 25 games. We're tired. All right? We need to rest we're starting, bullpen players. I don't even know the names of anymore. Like 3 of them pitched during the Subway Series, and I was like, who the hell is this guy? And his ERA is 25.
Yeah, that's
so I'm
never
like,
what you-
hey, that's a great acquisition, man.
That's
you know
never
what
what
I'm
you
saying?
wanna see.
And then my Smith, who almost had a no-no going into the 7th, like not only 2 weeks ago, is now Tommy John'd out. I'm angry. Give us DeGrom.
I was about to say the Rangers
Give us DeGrom.
They do have one All-Star starting pitcher, but he's going to require.
DeGrom got it?
DeGrom's the only Rangers All-Star, which the only other one I would even come close to arguing is Uvalde. I thought Uvalde was going to be. I thought that was a pretty given.
I think because he's not even on if you go to ESPN and look at the stats and whatnot, like he's not on the ERA. I guess he hasn't hit the minimum amount of innings.
Oh, so he is under the limit.
He's under the limit, I believe, because like they still have.
Well, I don't trust woke ESPN. Let me go to MLB where they still support Ty Cobb. Let me see. Let me see what we have here.
Oh, what was it like? Oh, and those darn amigos, those darn Astros are hotter than fish grease right now.
Dude, you know what the Astros do? You know what they do?
Man, they bang trash cans and they win.
They just win.
They bang trash cans.
It doesn't
and win.
matter who stays, who leaves.
They found a hacker
They
to
win.
get in that pitch comm. Check them.
What?
Rip off that shirt.
Am I doing a show?
Pat him down.
Am I doing a show with Oral Hershiser now? Did you hear his comments during that?
Oh, I think he said something about the trash.
So the Astros smoked the worst loss ever.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
At Chavez Ravine, worst loss ever for the
I wish
Dodgers.
they both could lose.
What was it? 18-1, 17-run loss.
Yeah.
So during the game, Hershiser literally was like, "I don't want to bring up any old scars, but it sure looks like the Astros are getting information early.
Seems like they know these, breaking balls, like a trash can's being banged or something.
Either so and so is tipping pitches, or the Astros are up to their old ways. Basically, is what he said.
And can we doubt why we question it? Can you doubt us?
Well, okay. So this is the
Can
thing.
you doubt us?
This is the thing, though, and
they did it so egregiously for so long.
That's the problem, though. The egregious nature of it.
And then they went to, you can't tell me that Altuve wasn't wearing a buzzer when he said, "Don't rip off my shirt."
Believe it.
When he waited on Chapman for a breaking ball. When all he was throwing was gas, and all of a sudden, I'm going to sit on a breaking ball from a fastball pitcher that throws 103 miles an hour.
But you know what else was happening in 2017? The Dodgers had
That was in 2017.
No, I'm saying what also was happening in 2017 was the Dodgers were having a dozen interns and analysts sit right down the stairs from the dugout to review film of every camera they had in the stadium to try to get that same information. They just weren't banging trash cans to relay it.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, I will never defend the Astros to begin with. But the baseball fan that wants to act like it was just the Astros doing it,
no,
that's the thing where it's like
baseball is always trying to get ahead.
Of course,
and
that's why the league.
When you started, the banging the trash cans was obvious, and they got caught for their idiots. But when you start using electronic devices like blackjack players and stuff, or
the anal beads like the chess player when he was beating Magnus Carlsen.
You always go to the anus.
Well, look, I never thought I would ever read a headline that had anal beads and world chess champion in the same.
It was an anal vibrator.
That's correct. It was remote controlled, so he could send him messages. No,
that's going on the IG story.
Yeah, there you go. I hate it when, especially Oral Hershiser acts like the Dodgers are above reprieve when they were doing the exact goddamn same thing.
Well, they were beating the crap out of his team.
That's correct. And he's watching another home run fly into left center, into the bleachers out there. The rest of the weekend sports really, hell, I walked into the house earlier tonight. LG was watching Salt Lake City Summer League. So I haven't watched any Summer League. Happened. The Summer League,
I think he fell asleep with something else on, and it like auto-tuned to ESPN.
It's the season of overreactions now that we're in Summer League. You want
to defend yourself, LG? Did you fall asleep? No? Yeah.
What? No, LG's just a solid sports fan. Every time.
You can't get me to believe he was watching Summer League
LG,
on purpose.
LG.
Bring it in.
How long had you been watching that?
Like all day.
Yeah.
Really?
Because it's been on all day.
Yeah.
And what were you watching last week when I walked in?
It was soccer.
No.
Baseball?
It was Cubs baseball.
Yeah, Cubs.
But
I was watching them Cubbies.
It wasn't even Rangers or Astros. It was Cubs Diamondbacks or something. Like
I find whatever's available and put it on.
LG is a proper sports fanatic, and I for one, appreciate his commitment to our craft
His lack of eye contact means he was fibbing.
No, I think his lack of eye contact means he's finished that Sapporo he was working on before we started. No, I'll watch some of the Vegas Summer League, but don't have much time for Salt Lake City. I saw the Spurs said Dylan Harper's going to play in the first game of Vegas, and then they'll play it by ear, which probably means he's playing one game and then they're shutting him down, which is what they should do. But yeah, outside of that, Wimbledon's going on.
Yeah. I mean, the top players are performing. We're like, what was it?
Well, Sinner advanced today because Dimitrov had to retire. He's up 2-0 over the number one player in the world, and
I didn't even see that.
Had to retire due to injury. So we should have gotten an upset, but instead Sinner advances. Sinner, who has been busted cheating multiple times in his career with performance-enhancing drugs, the Italian pale white-skinned ginger, just is so easy. Like Mussolini's rolling over in his grave. Look, he's like, wait, we have the best. An Italian is the best tennis player in the world. Wait, what? He's white and ginger? Hold on, come on.
It's like the Jewish German where wins the Nobel Peace Prize or something, and Hitler's like, shit.
Yeah, it's you got what you wanted, but just it's like any wish from a genie when they have the stereotypical. There's always something. There's something wrong with it, but now it's obviously the weekend recap
how's
was
Coco Gauff doing in that tournament?
She got upset. She got upset like first round.
Damn,
there were
on grass.
I think four of the top five all got upset in the first two rounds.
But the number one seed, that girl.
Yeah, I think she's still alive. Yeah. She scares me. Wimbledon is the one that I pay the least amount. I like the clay the most, and I like the hard courts. Wimbledon, they're all in white. It just all feels like a royal promenade. Yeah. Like it doesn't. It feels too hoity-toity. Like I like the Australians when they're yelling.
God save the Queen.
Yeah. Don't have a whole lot of time for that. So
gotta bail you out in WW2.
There it is. No, we'll keep an eye. We'll keep an eye on Wimbledon, but don't expect. That's probably lightning round coverage from now on. Let's shift gears here. Get into our main segment because I joked at the beginning of the episode. I did a really poor job of selling what we're starting tonight. We are starting every main segment, as we get closer to NFL season starting, we're going to do division by division previews. And I did a bad job of selling it because I said we're going to start with the least exciting division. But we got to do them all, so we got to start somewhere. We're going to start with the AFC East, where there is, I think, out of all of the divisions in football, if you asked me to, gamble everything I own, bet everything I own to pick the winner of one division in the NFL,
this would be it. Buffalo.
I think this, which also means it's not going to work out. Buffalo's a 5-year title streak. The only team that has won their division.
How long did
more consecutively is Kansas City?
New England had the title streak. They had 10-year title streak until after Brady got
something like that.
After he came back from getting hurt,
after the Matt Castle year.
Yeah, they whooped. They had a bad Buffalo. They had a bad New Jersey, or New York Jets. I call them the New Jerts. And Miami, who was Tannehill days. You know what I'm saying? So
the Bills have won the AFC East every year since Brady left for Tampa.
Yeah.
So as soon as Brady leaves New England, the Bills have ascended to total dominance within the division. Vegas predicts Vegas has the over/under win total at 11.5, and they are along. That's the highest win total, or no, second highest win total I think that Vegas has on the board.
Ooh, now I know my Niners are up there because we got one of the they're getting the game. They're gonna pile up the wins. The only one that I can see them splitting with, besides running the gambit, is splitting with Miami. If
you have Miami pretty firmly in that, that second position in the division.
Yeah, well, I don't have them firmly. I just think Miami always plays them hard at home.
Yeah,
not up in Buffalo where it's cold and Tua Tagovailoa.
There you go.
Can't throw the ball for anything, but I think that's the only chance they have to split. I think they run the gambit like the Niners did back 2 years ago, where we beat everyone in the division twice, and that's 6 games right there.
Yeah, you mentioned, so your Niners are a part of the second group. Lions and Niners both at 10.5 win over under, and then the Bills are 11.5. Along with them, it's Ravens, Chiefs, Eagles. So Vegas is telling you we view Buffalo as the upper elite crest of the league. We're talking Ravens, Bills, Chiefs.
Yeah.
Those three all are going to have to go through each other. The Bills are 0-4 versus Kansas City in the playoffs with Josh Allen.
They're going to have to
break
break
and then the Eagles in the NFC, so you're seeing them.
And the Niners.
Well, in that second tier, your Niners are tied with a team that went 15-2 last year in Detroit, led by a proper Glenn Rosian, Dan Campbell.
We'll get into why I think they're in the top tier, but anyway.
Yeah, I think there's. I say we started with the most boring one. The odds of Buffalo somehow not winning this division for a 6th straight year seem incredibly, incredibly slim. And the question for Bills fans is,
they start off with a banger.
Even if
the Bills Ravens Sunday night.
Oh, that's great.
They start off. That's going to be, I don't care if it's a 0-0 game. That's going to be, they're going to try to kill each other.
Yeah. Well, and they also, specifically those two teams.
Yeah.
Every time they play each other, it's a tune-up to play Kansas City.
Yeah.
Because they know you've got, one of us has to beat Kansas City if we're going to get to a Super Bowl.
you forgot to say the refs. Kansas City and the refs.
That whole narrative
and
is
Taylor
that whole
Swift.
narrative is
And
a
Taylor-
bit ridiculous.
It's not a narrative, man.
It actually is.
You saw how they got tuned up in
But
the
there's
Super
no
Bowl.
actual data that shows they're getting more. They actually get less calls in the last 2 minutes of games. Yeah. Like there was Pablo Torre wrote a whole
telling
article
me
about
from what I saw last year.
I'm telling
a
you,
subpar
like
Kansas
most
City,
humans,
a Kansas City team with
anecdotal evidence
one of the greatest
does not
quarterbacks to do
match
it. A
the
subpar
numbers.
team that barely won by one scores constantly. No holding calls, no pass interference calls, no defensive pass interference calls. No, my eyes did not deceive me. They should not have won 5 of those games.
And I think
they should not have won 5 of those games.
I'm comfortable saying your eyes deceived you.
They shouldn't have won 5 of those games.
And
I hope you stayed awake for that one, Dad, because he's a Chiefs fan.
The question for Buffalo is not what they do in the division. It's what they do when they play Kansas City and the refs.
It's going to be the elite teams.
From your anecdotal evidence there.
Yeah.
The, as far as the business, any reason that Buffalo might be better this year compared to last year? Obviously, Josh Allen, a year of more experience. They signed him on the long-term deal this offseason. So
Did they draft a wide receiver too?
They signed the kid from the Chargers, Palmer. Gave him. He's going to be their. He's going to basically be their like a Z guy in that offense. I think they extended Shakur, the other receiver. They have what's his name? Keon. What's the receiver they have that is
the
kid from Florida State? Coleman.
Coleman. Yeah.
That's looking to, still looking to have a breakout, has all of the natural ability, but still potentially trying to piece it together. For them, the big thing is defense. Last year they were one of the only teams that was worse than them at getting off the field on third down was your Dallas Cowboys. But they had a defense.
Say your Dallas Cowboys to me one more time.
Intentionally. They had a defense that was turning the ball over. So they couldn't get off the field, but they were forcing turnovers. So it went a long way to covering the deficiency. Yeah. But most of their draft was addressing the defensive side of the ball.
They did sign old Joey Bosa, the older Bosa, see if he got something left.
Yeah.
To try to edge up that, try to get up on that edge.
I think that's an interesting one because, again, getting off the field on third down, if you can apply consistent pressure with your edge rushers, that's how you get off the field. That's also potentially how you force more turnovers too, which they're already good at.
So guess what the next, besides a bunch of divisional and scrubs, what's the next team they play 5 weeks after they play Ravens?
Who, Buffalo? What's their matchup with the rest of the schedule? Like what divisions are they playing?
They played their division, so they're playing
because the AFC East has a super easy they have a super easy matchup this year, and I read it earlier.
Yeah. They're playing
AFC North and NFC South.
Yeah.
So they get the NFC South to beat up on
the Saints.
And all that Saints, Falcons, Bucks,
Jags.
Yeah. Panthers.
Do you think that's going to be a hard one?
No, I mean that's not Jags. Jags are AFC. Panthers are that other NFC South team. So they have the easy matchup division-wise.
What's funny is because it's Panthers, and then they get to the tough one, which will be the Chiefs. Looks like a week 6, week 7 game.
That'll be I can't wait to hear the talking heads overreact.
That's going to be at
Buffalo.
Yeah.
Still early in the season, though, so probably no, inclement weather or anything too crazy.
Nah.
I think Buffalo.
But I think that is advantage for both Mahomes and Allen because as much as Mahomes is not considered a runner, he is deadly on third downs. It kills me.
He doesn't run
how deadly he is.
He doesn't run like Lamar. He runs to
get first down.
extend the window to either get a first down or extend the window to throw the ball downfield.
Yeah.
Which arguably, in a lot of ways is even more dangerous than having a guy like Lamar that can just take off and outrun everybody. Vegas has the over-under line at 11.5. Buffalo can go 9-8 and win this division.
Oh, easily.
I feel pretty comfortable saying.
How much what do they have the line at to where you have to, how much to get like $100? How much would you have to put in?
Oh, you
have to put in like $1,200.
Yeah, you're losing money to even take the risk. Again,
because that's easy money.
I think Buffalo is that team in the AFC that if they could ever just get past or through Kansas City, I feel pretty comfortable saying they're better. I think Buffalo is better than the best team in the NFC, and I think they have been the last couple of years. Even though Philly won last year, I know. I know.
Yeah, so the only other tough teams I see after the Chiefs is they got to come here on the Texans and play C.J. Stroud. Hopefully everybody's healed up, and that will be not quite. I don't think Thanksgiving's on the 20th, but it will be a Thursday night game. That might be.
Well, if it's a Thursday night game, 20th probably is.
It's Thanksgiving.
Unless Thanksgiving's the 27th, the next Thursday.
Thanksgiving was real late last year. Help us out there in the comments. And then they got, I don't see the Steelers.
No, that's that next week.
Yeah,
Thanksgiving's the 27th.
Okay, so then the Bengals, they play after Thanksgiving, and that's going to be at their stadium. And then they play the Eagles, second to last game at their stadium. So all these tough games, except for even the Ravens, all at home. All these tough games except for Houston, which is a semi-tough game, because they're just unproven. The Bills are a lock for like 14 wins, man.
Whoa!
I'm just putting it out there, man.
I mean,
you don't think they can split those 4 teams they have to play? The Ravens, I just think
Cincy, 14 is such a huge
Texans,
number. Like, I don't disagree with all of the logic you laid out.
And Eagles.
And, okay, I'll say this, too. Now that there's 17 games, I'm still adjusting. When I hear someone say, oh, that's a 14-win team.
Now you're still thinking 17, so it's 18.
Yeah, right. And so trying to, okay, actually, so 14-3.
Yeah.
Which is basically what would have been a 13-3. So you're saying they're going to lose 3 games.
Yeah. They split those tough games.
Yeah. No,
and only one of them is going to be away.
Not much to argue there.
And only one of them is going to be away.
Yeah, not much to argue. I think, again, Buffalo, it's going to be just about staying healthy going into the playoffs. Technically, Vegas has the Dolphins and the Patriots both at 8.5 wins over under. So I deferred, went Miami ahead of New England just because Miami has been closer. They've been a team that's won 9 games more recently than New England. So
if Tua doesn't throw up those Crip signs, man, they can win some games.
Yeah, the
CTE is nothing to joke about, gentlemen.
Well, as you just joked about it, gentlemen.
What?
What? Yeah, I think Miami is a team that potentially has the most questions from top to bottom of any team in the league. Like, is Mike McDaniel on the hot seat?
Yeah. Why is this play like you had Raheem Mostert come out and bash Miami organization? You had another player, the running back before him, come out and bash the organization. Something is rotten in there, and Mike McDaniel is not fixing it per se. I mean, he's fixing it with talent, and of course he's got that swag, but like he might have to go to an offensive coordinator position for a while again. Get that respect where he can sit there and keep these guys in line and stuff where it's like, hey, focus up. Because not winning in the cold is ridiculous. That's not an excuse for football. even though you're in Miami.
Yeah, you can't just chalk it up to the fact that you're a warm weather city.
And when you got, David Acne, and then you got Tyreek Hill, Waddle. Now you got Westbrook, Aheen. He's coming on there, and now you got Darren Waller coming out of retirement because he just refused to play for the Giants.
Yeah, but they lost their tight end too. Like Waller, if Waller is what he was before, it is probably an upgrade. But really, Waller is an unknown at this point, I would say.
But Geno Smith was such an undersized tight end.
Yeah, for sure.
They had Waddle and Tyreek Hill are undersized, so they needed height. And I think that was the main thing with them on third down. They didn't have anybody to throw it up to. You know what I'm saying? And they cured that with the Westbrook. He's like, I think he's like 6'4".
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to be a guy that is, he's a
third down back.
Yeah, he's more of a 600 to 800 yards, and you'll love what you got from him. He
was like
a situational guy
to
for
say
sure.
For y'all, for the Cowboys. He was, y'all didn't really have one, but he was y'all's, Galloway? Who was the one that no longer with you?
Oh, Michael Gallup?
Gallup. He was y'all's Gallup, where he would get the third down looks. They might do a 1 or 2 plays for him, but he was always going to be the second or third option, but he was only going to be the first option when they knew Tyree or CD was going to get covered, doubled, and Dustin Schultz was going to get covered. Double covered and stuff like that. So Gallup was there, and he had the height, to, do a comeback route and beat the corner by jumping up over him.
Do you like the trade-off of, basically replacing Jalen Ramsey with Minkah Fitzpatrick?
I mean, that could have been the stank in the locker room, man. Jalen.
It makes you wonder.
With all the antics I've seen Jalen do, and then he doesn't stay. I mean, I know L.A. rented him for a year, just to get that Super Bowl. But, I don't know, man.
I think it's a downgrade in talent, but it could be an upgrade
you do those
in
antics,
culture.
like backing up the Brinks truck.
It
was hilarious, but nonetheless, as a football, a fan and a team, I'm like, yeah, you can cut that crap out.
Also, lost their left tackle Taron Armstrong and Calais Campbell as well. But Campbell's great, but that's more veteran voice.
They got the quickest pass rating in all of them. They need just running Tua gets that ball out in under 2 seconds every time.
Do you know off the top of your head? Just guess the last year the Dolphins won a playoff game.
Tannehill?
Nope.
Shoot. Ricky Henderson? Oh, not Ricky Henderson. Ricky Williams?
I believe it was Ricky and Cadillac Williams from Auburn.
Yeah.
It was 2000. It was the year 2000.
Yeah, that was old Ricky Williams.
Yeah.
That was when they fed him the ball for him.
Dave Wanstedt, former Cowboys assistant, was the head coach. Your Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas were Pro Bowlers on that team.
Defense was killer.
It was Jay Fielder was quarterback.
Fielder or Feely?
Fielder, Jay Fielder.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That was.
But who was the running back?
That would have been. It wasn't even
Ricky.
It wasn't even Ricky yet. It was.
He started smoking dope already.
Well, yeah, I don't think that was necessarily. No, it was. Dude, it was nobody. That
was just defense alone.
Your quarterback room was Jay Fielder, Damon Heward, and Mike Quinn. Your running backs were Audric Denson, who really was a kick returner. Deion Dyer was a fullback, and then J.J. Johnson and Lamar Smith. Team.
They won on defense.
That's
alone.
the last, with Jason Taylor.
And then probably the weakest division. That was before
Texas Tech's own Zach Thomas.
Bledsoe playing in New England. Buffalo was a shell. Buffalo was getting over the fact that
it was
they
also
had rebuilding.
The year after Marino had retired.
Ooh.
The last year the Dolphins won a playoff game
Was
the first year they didn't have Dan Marino. That just feels like it was so long ago when you
I
put
feel like
it
that's
at,
a trivia question right there.
Yeah,
man.
well, I was blown away. I didn't think it was true when I read it in an article
Well,
earlier.
I know they've been one and out, like ever since Tua. Like even though they're like we're all rated high and they got Tyreek and they like just put up crazy we loved Miami in fantasy, but
they're great for fantasy.
I just knew in playoffs they're just no bueno.
Would you say Miami is closer to Buffalo or New England? Vegas thinks they're way closer to New England, obviously.
Yeah, they're way closer to New England.
See,
I think just because Buffalo's on a different level, man. Like I think
it says more about Buffalo than it does New England.
Yeah.
And I agree with that.
Because New England, they just a record amount for New England to spent money on offseason, and they did it on the lines.
Really busy offseason.
And they did it on
the
defensive
trenches.
lines.
And they got 31-year-old Stephon Diggs who's handing out pink rock candy.
Hey,
he just went to Cracker Barrel and got some rock candy
with those quality church-going women.
That's correct. Good God-fearing women. I think they were actually on spring break from Liberty University and BYU as well. They were proper religious women. No,
I wish we had someone like can you tell if those girls got expelled their Lawrence? No.
I've had quite a bit of fun with people. About every couple of years, there's a massive awareness of people understanding that BYU's honor code includes premarital sex. You get kicked out of the university if you have sex.
Oh, someone
before marriage.
Wait to the lightning round. I got one.
Okay, all right. So I mentioned the Pats because Vegas has them same over under as Miami, which to me that was shocking. I think New England's going to be vastly improved. Year one with Vrabel as the head coach. Year two of Drake May at quarterback. Last year, New England lost 6 one-score games.
Yeah.
So they were right there.
Yeah.
With a bad roster.
And they spent a crap ton of money on the defensive and offensive line. And Vegas knows it's not the showy thing, but that's how you start winning immediately.
And to further that, Vegas has them projected as the highest increase in win total from last year.
Yeah, because they finished last year.
Yeah, Vegas loves.
They were 4-13. So double it when 8 games.
This would be a 4 or 5 win increase.
You double your thing, but
the Diggs deal. We'll see what he still has left. I'm not entirely sold that he's going to be, the playmaker that they're anticipating. But big additions.
Their season opener against the Raiders. Who's gonna watch that one?
I don't know, man. I want to see Vrabel. I'm curious to see Vrabel back in his old.
Yeah.
Vrabel just feels like he should be the Patriots head coach.
Yeah.
Who was it last year? They did him so dirty. Who was it?
Tennessee.
No, not Tennessee. Who New England had last year as head coach. They only got 1 year, and then they fired him.
I know who you're talking about.
I know the defensive-minded. Anyway, there's something about seeing
didn't make the cut.
There's something about seeing Vrabel on the sidelines that I think will. It just fits. It just feels like a very New England hire. It feels like a guy, Jared Mayo, their former linebacker, who only got 1 year and only won 4 games. No,
it'd be crazy. The last game of the year for both the Dolphins and New England
against each other.
That's
a play. That potentially, if you just look at what Vegas is predicting,
that could be a playoff
over-unders,
and that could be like the decision.
That's
the tiebreaker.
To decide a wild card spot potentially. Yeah. Which again, I mean,
they got. I mean,
they won 4 games last year, and they lost 6 one-score games.
So let's go down it. Raiders, I got that as a win. Dolphins at Miami, I took that as a loss. Steelers.
Wait, are you going game by game of the Patriots schedule right now?
Right now. Just not. I'm not going to do this for every one, man.
But why the Okay, sorry.
Because you said it was very interesting.
No,
I like Mike Vrabel too.
No. I'm with you.
Right.
What's the buzzing Week 4 matchup they have on the schedule? I'm so curious.
The Panthers.
Oh, now that's a slobber knocker right there.
Oh man.
No one circles the wagons like the Kakalaka Panthers.
The Kakalaka. Man, how long you been holding that one in?
That's everyone knows. That's what us true Carolinians refer to it as.
Yeah, but like literally, like all these are up in the air except for Bills, of course.
Yeah,
And
they
then
dropped 2 to the Bills.
The Ravens.
They dropped 2 to the Bills, but I don't think
Buccaneers.
For whatever, I think Miami has a better chance of sweeping the Jets than the Patriots do. The Jets-Patriots games are always weird.
Yeah,
they're always like I think
like
they're
a rivalry. Man.
Yeah, and I think they're kind of the same people
it's a low-scoring
that are just
game.
pissed off about everything, and it's going to be a 13-10, 13-17 game.
Okay, I mean you went from a fan base that never wins anything that got Aaron Rodgers,
but that's the whole difference.
That was the shit.
They never
show
win
of the
anything,
season.
so they're pissed off, and the Patriots win everything. So when they don't, they're pissed. It's like one loss, and the world is crumbling.
I think Boston's just always pissy.
1,000%. Now that wouldn't surprise me if that Patriots Dolphins game in Week 18 is to decide a playoff spot. I would still say Patriots under 8.5. I don't think the Patriots win 9 games. I don't think they go 9-8.
No,
that's a huge increase versus last year.
I mean, if they get some upsets and they get momentum, I'm telling you, the trenches mean everything.
Yeah, and you mentioned the trenches.
You give Drake May some time.
And Morgan Moses, tackle, commit to him on a big deal in the offseason. They really increased, the Milton Williams, $100 and something million deal, half of it guaranteed.
They spent more money than they ever have this offseason.
Here's the numbers. Harold Landry at $43.5 million, $26 million guaranteed, and then Milton Williams $104 million, $51 million guaranteed. So just one edge and one interior defensive lineman, and they guaranteed $77 million. Yeah. So,
and you got the head coach he was a great linebacker himself.
Oh damn! I forgot they had signed Carlton Davis too to that 3-year. $60 million. They spent so much effing money.
So much money, dude.
Good God.
That's why they have him.
I forgot some of these numbers were crazy.
Yeah, it's like because we've gone years and years, even with Tom Brady on the team, of them signing Randy Moss on the ass end of his career was amazing for us.
And then setting the touchdown record with
because they took
Brady.
Because 1 year, I had Lawrence Maroney as a fantasy.
Oh, here we go.
You're going to hear this.
Fantasy bad beat.
You take Lawrence Maroney in the first round because the Patriots going to have a high-scoring offense and going to get a bunch of first and ones with Randy Moss going over the top and getting pass interference. Solid game planning. Lawrence Maroney, a banger between the tackles. You're getting those first and ones. And what does Brady do every single time? Play action, Moss. I swear to God, it happened 18 times.
Everyone remembers the Moss late career revival.
Yeah.
But before they did it with Randy, do you remember Corey Dillon had a career year? I was just looking
Lawrence
it up.
Maroney had a year before that, dude.
I
They were and then all of a sudden it was pass with Moss. And it was just like, oh my God. So that's why that's why everybody's still a little bitter 10 years, 15 years down the line.
Yeah, I think Patriots are on the right path.
He ruined my fantasy team.
I'm thinking we're a year too early on the 9-win predictions.
Yeah.
Lastly, what do you want to say about the Jets? Here's for
Jets, Jets,
for my buddy Wally.
My buddy Brandon, he loves them some Jets.
The great Walter Pasacreta, huge Jets born and raised fan. At least you have a 26-year-old Justin Fields who we're not entirely sure is a bust, maybe, potentially.
He's a bust, man.
Possibly.
He's a bust.
Well, look.
But you have Travis Hunter.
That's fun. No, you,
no,
you
that's
actually
just Jags.
don't
That's
because
Jags.
that's in Jacksonville. Yeah.
Damn.
No, it's the Jets are. You have a new head coach, Aaron Glenn, so maybe a new vision at the top provides some structure and leadership that's been lacking. The Jets are perpetually in my lifetime, I think, going to continue being the Jets. And that's about it.
They have such a good receiver and a good running back with Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, but Breece might not even be on the team by the end of training camp. I mean, he's been floated in multiple potential trades, and they're not going to give him the 3-down back responsibilities, it doesn't sound like either.
Dumb.
Yeah, I think they're...
Yeah, Alan Lazard's still on there. I mean, I guess
he didn't make it to Pittsburgh.
Aaron Rodgers couldn't pull him away quick enough, but yeah, like there's really, you got Sauce Gardner, he's gonna be.
They have some individual fun players.
I mean,
but
their defense is going to be good,
team.
and that's why the Jets and the Patriots games are going to be dogfights because they're both going to have great Ds. But nice, solid, girthy defenses.
Garrett Wilson. They didn't trade him, right?
Nah, he's still on a rookie contract, man. This is going to be his third year.
Oh, well, then they're probably about to trade him before they pay him then.
That would be, are they going to tank for Arch? I mean, no, they can't even tank for Arch. Arch's not going to come out. Do you think he's going to come out next year?
Yes, potentially.
The closet? Okay.
But I think if Arch came out, there's absolutely no guarantee as we sit here tonight that Arch is the first quarterback taken in next year's draft. I mean, let's actually watch a season of Arch starting as quarterback in college football before we just instantly rush to say we're tanking for Arch. People were talking about tanking for Shador this time last year.
I mean, watch out for Shador, man.
Okay, we're going to do AFC North on Wednesday. So
in the Browns, who developed their core Bs, Deshaun Watson's got him underneath his wing.
Yeah, no, the Browns
He's showing them the ropes.
The Browns are known for having
showing them where all the nice rub and tug places
great
are.
Quarterback development. I think back to Brandon Whedon and now.
Hey, you stay off my redhead. That was my OSU redhead.
That was my Dallas Cowboys redhead too. So I do love me some Brandon Wheaton. No, the Jets are terrible, man. Vegas has them at 5.5.
5.5 wins.
Do you feel confident or comfortable saying Justin Fields is going to lead the Jets to 6 wins this year?
Do I feel comfortable that Justin Fields will lose his job by the 5th week? Yes.
There's no one. They have
Tyrod Taylor.
I don't think
that's their backup.
I don't think. Oh yeah, because Zach Wilson signed with the Dolphins, I think, right?
That old Cougar smasher himself.
Hey, BYU honor code breaker right there. I don't know. I'm not as down on Justin Fields as you are. Like I think it's funny their backup is Tyrod Taylor. I think that's who Justin Fields becomes the rest of his career. I think he's on that step below a starting of what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
He's on that step below a starting level quarterback. That's why Pittsburgh immediately went back to Russ Wilson last year instead of keeping him in the position, even though they were winning games with him.
He can't throw over the middle, man. He can't do a check down route. He can't throw over the middle. He's got a cannon for an arm, but he takes off. He gets all squirrely in the pocket the first sign of pressure. And they play contained defense on him, so he's going to A, get hurt, or B, throw in an INT because he can't throw over the middle, or C, just go out on downs. And, it's just,
I would be really interested if they use him more like Lamar Jackson. If there are more run option
Yeah.
like play calls.
Of course,
in
that's
the
what
offense.
they have to do with
you
Brees Hall. Yeah. So like that's
load
good.
up, be a
But
ground and pound
the
with
whole-
your
the whole-
quarterback and running back.
The whole thing of the PTO, like play action offense is you have to be able to check it down to your tight end. You have to be able to make those soft passes. You can't load it up because there's not enough time because your guys are playing a run. You're blocking the line is blocking a run are doing a run play. The offensive line is doing a run play, so that's a different style of blocking. They're not looking for to create a pocket for you. So he those little touch passes is where he is the worst at.
Yeah, that's touch pass and Justin Fields.
That was Trey Lance.
Don't go. Yeah.
Like, hey, Trey Lance. When I saw you couldn't do a touch pass, I'm like, he's not our quarterback.
Yeah, that was pretty clear that wasn't going to be a part of his game. The Jets are obviously a team in transition. I mean, the fact that Brees Hall's been on the block all summer, that tells me there's still. I mean, there were rumors back during the draft
there's rumors about everything, but I have not seen it officially from Shefty.
Well, Shefty's a mouthpiece of whatever agent is telling him to promote this or that. Like Shefty is not the tuned insider that he portrays himself. As if you want to say he's got a pretty mouth, I'll let you.
That's a pretty mouthpiece you got right there.
Bills clearly division winner.
Yeah.
You think they eclipse the 11.5? I agree with you.
Hands down.
Dolphins second in this division.
Second.
I think they win 9 games.
I think they'll creep in or just almost miss the playoffs like they always do.
I think so too. I think Dolphins are 9-8. I think they finished right over their number. Patriots technically have the 3rd easiest schedule, but I don't think they have enough to get to 9 wins like Miami. I think they're right on the underside of that number.
I think Vegas is spot on with this. That's a toss-up. I think they're spot on. Like, and I don't like agreeing with the old Vegas. They're old gambling.
They know how to make money off of us.
Hey,
they're really good at that. Yeah, I got. Give me Dolphins 9 wins, Patriots 8 wins. Yeah. There's your 2 and 3. They're on both sides of that.
Could switch at the last game of the season.
The very last game.
So those are interchangeable for me.
And then Jets 5.5. Dude, I think you're saying under on 5.5. Yeah, I think Jets are clearly.
I think they get 2.
The fact that Justin Fields 2-year deal, there's no commitment there. He's just a stopgap filler.
Give me a prop bet week 5.
Jets are hoping to be top 2 to take a quarterback next April for sure. So hey, look, we made it through the worst division preview. Every preview after this. Well, look at how fun that was. Yeah. Now every preview after that will be
there will
even
be a
better.
lot more arguing with the other divisions. Trust me, you will be entertained.
No, there's no dog in the fight with any of these teams. Like I have no connection.
Yeah, as much as we agreed on this division, will probably be the only one we agree on.
Which I think is why it's the perfect one to start with. And again, Wednesday night we'll do AFC North. So start to get a little more interesting with that. What are we talking? Cleveland, Baltimore, Pittsburgh.
Interesting. That's one of the funnest divisions.
Yeah.
Man, because
hold on. I always leave. Who's the one I left out?
You leaving out like?
Yeah. Hold on.
Baltimore,
Cleveland, Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Why are you doing this to me,
I
man?
I know.
Like, I'm right at the end of the show. It's another banger, man. Their games are epic. Oh, man.
No, I'm not even looking it up.
I'm pulling it up.
We're not signing off. We're not signing off until I can.
Bengals. Bengals. Sweet Joey Burrow, Macaulay Culkin himself, baggy Jinko wearing.
I think we'll have some disagreements come Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, then let's get to the lightning round before we get out of here. Did either of y'all see the actual details on Luke Cornett's deal with the Spurs? We got some more info on it today.
No.
So you remember last week we were talking about the 4-year, $41 million deal he signed to come to San Antonio, be the backup big man. Well, it turns out the deal is really more like a 2-year, $24 million deal because the amount of guarantees that he has in the deal don't cover all 4 years. So year 1, fully guaranteed, $11 million. Year 2, fully guaranteed, $10.5 million, 10.45.
Yeah.
And then year 3, first of all, the contract descends every year, which is great business.
Yeah.
Year 3, it's a $9.9 million number, but only 2.5 of that is guaranteed. So if they were to cut him, like if he just
we only eat 2.5.
2.5 is all that would stay on your salary cap number,
and that's
then
what she said.
The final year, no guarantee.
Yeah.
So if he plays
3
years at roughly $30 million, 3 for 30,
yeah,
they cut him before the last year. It's non-guaranteed, or
that's not bad.
No, it's great. But it makes me feel. I said last week, I love the signing, but there's no question it was a slight overpay. Now seeing these numbers, I retract every word of that. Seeing more detail, that is great business because also that last year being non-guaranteed, in 3 years, when we're again sitting here in the summer debating what big move the Spurs
when we
could
almost
make.
have won the championship.
Correct,
like
sure, right. When you've got your 45 wins, right?
Almost, no, 45 wins is next year.
Oh, that's right.
Championship's the year after.
That's right. So come 3 years from now, when he's on that final year of that deal, it makes him so much, like that's $10 million you can add to a trade package. So like this year, say.
And we can also pick up someone if, like next
sure,
year,
but
you know?
the for sure, it just having that last year non-guaranteed, it makes that number so much more tradable in the final year.
The last 2 years are basically non-guaranteed.
The last 2 years are $19 million, and only 2.5 of that is guaranteed.
Yeah,
that is great business. Props, props, Brian Wright again, man.
And
it's good business.
And Brian, we trust. Hit me, LG.
Shut up, fool. I need work.
So speaking of old BYU, the BYU QB Jake Ratzloff is facing suspension after admitting premarital sex and is looking to transfer from BYU.
Okay, so he was facing some a little darker charges. Yeah, allegations. It wasn't official charges.
Yeah.
I think it was based on a complaint. Yeah. And then she drops the complaint, but then BYU's like, well, hey, look, man. Consensual
you got
or not,
caught with your hand in the honey hole.
You still got it wet, like, this is because
poor kids at BYU, poor adults at BYU, not kids.
They have determined they can get it wet, but they just can't be actively going at it. So that's how we got the phrase soaking. Are you familiar with the concept of soaking?
Just leaving it in.
That's correct. And then, but even better, this I'm not making this up.
Is that even possible?
This isn't me.
You have to thrust it in there.
This isn't like that
counts as one thrust.
Just wait.
That's just one thrust.
This isn't like I'm a Republican politician talking about litter boxes in classrooms. This one is actually true. Trust me, I know.
This is like through the sheet. Like
so no.
Put a sheet with a little hole in it.
The way it works is
Mormons are those are some
the
special
dude
people.
has his buddies line him up, so it's not him doing it.
Oh,
and then as he's soaking, let's keep it. As he's soaking, they bounce the bed.
Oh,
and that's not premarital sex. That's premarital soaking. Completely different thing. Completely different.
And Joseph Smith's more in line with that than...
I think that's in the golden tablets that he found in his backyard.
And only he could read, and they disappeared soon afterwards. Yeah,
and the secret underwear.
Book of Mormon,
the
great
sacred
play.
underwear. Look, every religion's got some weird stuff going.
A couple have got some really weird stuff.
Well, no one compares to the greatness of Scientology when it comes to levels of absurd. Hit me, LG. fried taters and mustard. I mentioned the Club World Cup, the terrible injury to Musiala, the Bayern player, fractured his fibula, kept them falling short of making it to the semifinals. One side of the bracket is basically Chelsea and a bunch of Brazilian and Saudi Arabian teams. And then the other side is like Bayern, PSG, Real Madrid, Dortmund. It's
I wonder who got paid on that draw.
No, so the reason is because there were a couple upsets in the group stage. So teams that should have won their group finished second.
So this wasn't the
no.
table.
It's all how you finish in your group. And then add on top of that, when Man City played Al Hilal in that great knockout game, the Saudi Arabian club beat them. So it should be
stealing your thunder, LG. That you had it.
It should be Chelsea versus Man City, but instead it's going to be Chelsea versus Fluminense, the Brazilian club, and then the other side of the bracket is PSG Real. So
PSG Real.
If Chelsea, I think Chelsea's tomorrow night, and then Paris and Madrid are
most
Wednesday.
likely.
Actually, they're afternoon games. They're 2:00 kickoffs. Yeah,
and
tomorrow and Wednesday.
Tomorrow and Wednesday. Ooh.
So hopefully we get a Chelsea versus
to wake up to.
Either wake up to. God, that's what I love about you. I will.
I wake up at 9 to give my dog a pill. Like he got seizures.
You're a better
and then
man
I go
than
back
I am.
to sleep. All right, hit me, LG. All right.
Excuse me, Holmes.
The sweet Les Grossman is having his own movie. And if you don't know Les Grossman, he's from Tropic Thunder, and we've all watched it and all loved the movie.
Speaking of Scientologists.
Yeah, the head Scientologist himself, Mr. Action Star. He is creating his own movie about the movie producer, Les Grossman.
Is Ben Stiller involved in any way?
I think...
I would love to see. I would actually watch a Ben Stiller wrote and directed a movie about that character.
He wrote a part for him. He wanted Tom Cruise to be Matthew McConaughey, the agent, and it was Tom Cruise who told him, "Well, what about a movie producer? You don't have a movie producer in there?" And he's like, "No." He's like, the head of a studio, and he's like, "No." He's like, "Those are you got to have a head of the studio. I'll play the guy the head of the studio."
Oh, he hadn't written that character.
Never
I didn't
wrote
know
it.
that. I didn't know
Tom
that. That's
Cruise
great.
was the original creator of Les Grossman, and now we get a movie of Les Grossman, which I love when Tom riffs on himself because we all can riff on him with Scientology and the old Katie Holmes thing, and
oh God, I forgot about
Jamie Foxx dicking her down right afterwards, getting out that Scientology.
There's a better way to phrase that, but yes, I believe that is true. That did happen.
But I'm stoked for that one.
No, I missed that.
Yeah,
you've piqued my interest, to say the least.
Watch Tropic Thunder again. Because we came up hard. We take him. I'm not going to do it.
Danny McBride. There's so many. Even the guy that plays Alan Partridge, the director that gets blown up. I can't think of his real name.
Yeah, he's like
the
famous
British
in
guy.
English.
Yeah, he's awesome. Dude, Alan Partridge is one of the
hilarious.
funniest shows I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of his shows, but hopefully we get a return of some of those classic characters in the old Les Grossman
Steve
movie.
Coogan, that's that guy's name.
Yeah.
Steve Coogan. Yeah, hit me, LG.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
There's a new RoboCop video game coming out, an expansion on the one they put out. Dude, it was pretty fun. It was
good.
It was pretty. Speaking of video games. You want to?
He beat me in Mario Kart before he got here. The guy who plays video games more than all of us.
But it was
beat me in a video game.
Surely it was just one race, right?
I beat you in one. You beat me in two.
Okay. No, I beat you in 3.
No, you took the.
You beat my room. You beat my wife.
You took the controller away from your wife, which is like.
There's got to be a better way to phrase that.
You took your joystick away from your wife, dude. All right.
Yeah. Look, I'm a works-based society here. Like, if you can't live up to the hype, you got to give up the sticks. And as soon as I saw
She got third place, man.
yeah, but you got first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also got first on you.
Once
Yeah.
versus the 3 times I got.
We're 2-1. Anyway, watch
You are
out.
having hard trouble.
First off, I don't play video games.
Here comes
Calm down.
Well,
And I beat you.
no. So I must have spent hours playing that game before. Oh wait, no, it was the first time I played it ever. It was the first time
When's the
I
last
picked
time you
up the
played Mario
controller.
Kart? When's the last time you played Mario Kart?
LG, when's the last time we played the old one on your Switch? Probably 2 years ago when I used to do a show out of this house.
That's about 17 years since me.
You played last week against
One time.
one time. Okay.
All right, anyway.
Video game news. NCAA 26 is coming out this week, and after what they did last year with it, there's some improvements that could be made, and it seems like we might have another good college football game coming
It
out.
seemed like the college football has been outdoing Madden for the past couple of years, except for last year, it seems.
Well, last year was the first year the college football game's been back. The other ones were nerds like me that would download jailbreak. It was just back last year.
Okay.
But that's why it was so hype last year versus Madden, because it was
everybody I knew who
first
played
time back.
like football, like played the football games were like college football is 10 times better, and I'm like, how is it? Are they both coming from EA?
It's as far as like playing. If you and I were to play one-on-one, I would every single time say, let's play NCAA and not Madden.
Yeah.
Madden's slow.
Yeah.
It's so.
I started playing Madden in 05 when Terrell Owens was on the Eagles and they had the hit stick.
I miss the hit stick. Quickly before we close out, other college football news. Did y'all see Tech signed another 5-star? This time an offensive lineman. They guaranteed him $5.1 million for his first 3 years on campus in Lubbock.
Is Taylor Sheldon out there just like giving up money for
So,
this? Because it seems like this is oil money.
It is.
And he's out there.
It's a kid that Steph grew up around. Went to Tech. He's a diehard Tech guy.
Yeah.
Started his own oil and natural gas company, and then broed down and cashed out. And has
nothing but Bitcoin and
dude. He sold his company for like $4.5 billion. And then immediately turned around, and his next investment
Steph, can I borrow some money?
Made him a couple of more. So his net worth is up close to like $8 billion now.
Yeah, that's what you do
and
when
he's
you have
just
$1 billion. You just make another $1 billion. Like
all he
nothing.
cares about at this point in life is Texas Tech athletics. So that he's just funding. It is.
I know, man. There's so many of my friends that are Tech fans.
Jeff
too.
Traylor is just waiting for one UTSA grad to strike it rich like that, because it really can't. I mean, Tech had never signed a 5-star prospect until 2 years ago, and now they've signed half a dozen or 4 or 5 now total in the last couple of years. So,
good job for me. I got one more. Hit me, LG.
You want to keep it real? You keep it real with me.
Keeping it real. Let's keep it all the way real. The FBI says there is no Epstein list. That there is nothing.
Well, hold on. I thought the client list was on our Attorney General's desk in February.
The February. No Epstein list. And now they're going to, I guarantee.
Wait, well, then hold on. Why is Ghislaine Maxwell in prison? If there's no client list, then she surely had no involvement setting up said client.
There is no blackmail. There is no. But what they have, is a bunch of videotapes and stuff
good.
like
Okay,
this.
so we have evidence. We have hard evidence.
All that stuff is redacted. And that's what we want to find out.
But wait.
All that redacted stuff.
What about the video of the prison cell where he allegedly unalived himself?
The FBI director has seen suicides, and he says it wasn't a suicide for sure.
Wait, is that the podcasting deputy of the FBI, or is that the UFC?
Can we all be on the same page and say, show us the evidence?
I think we
Can
are.
Can we all be on the same side on this?
Look, what do I have? What do I have written when it comes to Epstein?
Bipartisan
outrage.
This
I kind of
is
think
ridiculous.
we're all on the same page here.
Just show it to us. If your man's in it, fine. If my man's, I don't really have a man, but if he's in it, good. Get rid of him. I don't care. You diddle kids. See ya. We should all be on the same page. No kid diddling.
There's no question.
No kid diddling.
There's no question there are influencers and powerful people from all sides of the political spectrum involved in that. I did find it funny. So they released the video of the jail cell where he unalived himself, offed himself.
Unalived himself.
Well, that's for YouTube purposes. If we say diddling immediately, nope. This is getting marked into.
That's why I didn't say.
No, hey, well, I think stick with. No, I think diddling's fine. I'm just giving you shit. The video they released. Immediately, people realize there's 8 minutes missing from the feed. But then, to make it even worse, the video they released this week and told us, oh, nope, here's the video evidence. He wasn't murdered. He did it himself. It doesn't match the picture that they released in February of the prison, of the cell with the
different cell.
Yellow police tape on it. Yeah. So it's not even the same cell. All of it is
something's wrong here.
Yeah, so dead giveaway.
These allegations are false.
I was like, there's 10 bars on that one. There's 13 bars on that one.
Yeah, I fear.
I can count.
I fear there is enough to be lost by a few elites that we unfortunately are probably not going to get much. I did see Anonymous started attacking them. Speaking of people attacking Scientology, Anonymous. They had started to release some emails that hadn't been made public before. So
come on, Anonymous, you hacker.
Hold out. In Guy Fawkes, we trust.
And whatchamacallit, like the main thing is the FBI. They're going to be if they unredact everything and go after these powerful people that are kid diddlers, they're going to have to go against the toughest legal team ever assembled in the universe. And
led by Alan Dershowitz, a man whose name appeared on the flight logs and list quite a bit.
Yeah, and guess what just happened? They just looked like a bunch of grad school just dropouts dealing with the Diddy case.
Yeah.
If you can't put Diddy behind bars,
I think he might not be behind bars for long, but the RICO charges were
the feds don't want another black eye because they have a 99% conviction rate for a reason. They don't go after cases they don't win.
They messed up that Young Thug case too. He beat RICO. We got Young Thug and Diddy beating RICO charges in the last 18 months.
They don't like those type of men to.
Yeah.
When I say those type, I mean young individuals.
That's correct. The well, here, LG, hit me one more time. Let's close it out here. We could end up talking Epstein.
The rabbit hole.
Yeah, conspiracy. Because it's I wrote bipartisan because it's one of the few things where like I'm seeing like Rep. Mo Khanna, Bernie's former campaign manager, now a Democrat representative from California, literally saying almost verbatim the exact same thing as Alex Jones is saying.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, we're getting, like, bipartisan. I fear this is going to become our new, like, JFK files. This is going to be for years they'll say, no. That's not true.
The Black Panthers weren't killed by the CIA.
Right. And then, the CIA didn't send Martin Luther King a letter telling him to unalive himself.
Yeah.
Or, FBI. I feel like Epstein is going to become our new JFK files, where, like, 30 years from now, they'll release the files, but it'll be a whole lot of nothing like the JFK files.
The grandkids are going to have to deal with the fallout.
1,000%. All right, LG, let's have a little fun before we close out here. Do you have that? I did this just for you. I've been enjoying my rabbit holes of Keith Hernandez audio.
All right, I'm excited for this.
So are you familiar?
You got me last time.
Are you familiar with an individual named Richard Lovelady?
Oh, man. I used to have a teacher named Miss Lovelady.
So you might remember him. He pitched against your Yankees. He's pitched for the Rays and the Blue Jays in your division. He is a 30-year-old pitcher from Georgia who is now plying his trade for the New York Mets. So the problem arises.
Just setting up Keith over there.
The problem arises, so to speak. Richard Tyler Lovelady, his whole life, since childhood,
He's been named Dick.
his friends have called him Dickie. And this is where Keith Hernandez doesn't quite know how to handle that.
So there was a controversy yesterday. Maybe controversy is too strong a word, but a misunderstanding. All of Richard Lovelady's friends call him Dickie. Okay. So when the Mets signed him and brought him to the big leagues yesterday, he consulted with the media relations staff, and they asked him, do you want to be known as Richard or Dickie? Fly ball out to center off the bat of Albies, and McNeil runs it down. And so he said, well, everybody calls me Dickie. Call me Dickie. And so the Mets put out a press release saying they'd signed Dickie Lovelady. Right. And then there was a response online about the idea of Dickie Lovelady coming to the Mets. And Richard was not anticipating that kind of reaction. Really? So he went back to the media relations staff and said, you guys can call me Dickie, but for informational purposes, I'm still going to be Richard. So when you come across him in the hallway, you can say, hi, Dickie. Okay. But for our purposes, it's Richard Lovelady.
I'm going to play it safe. Call him Richard. That'd be a good move.
You could go like halfway, call him Rich, but that's not his name. And you know, you're not usually the guy who plays it safe.
No, 20th year. Very nice.
There's a nice slider by Lovelady.
I mean,
nice
Richard
slider, not
Tyler
Lovelady.
Lovelady sounds like a great Southern writer. Bestsellers everywhere.
Hinesville, Georgia.
There you go. I figured that's one of the best ones yet.
Oh, me and Keith, I got you a beer anytime you want. Just hit me up, Keith.
Yeah, only...
I will be your friend, unlike Jerry Seinfeld. God. And I'll hook you up with some friends where you can just leave it out.
Wasn't it
they wouldn't mind.
30-year anniversary of Seinfeld? I think the first episode debuted last week.
If there was like something on the wall that says one day since I've watched Seinfeld, that thing would never reach double digits.
All right, we need to work on that.
It would never reach double digits.
Someone build us a sign because we need that. All right, well, on an episode where we start with the absolute devastating tragedy.
That is one magic loogie.
You get a little Dickie Lovelady from Keith Hernandez on the way out. LG, play our theme music. Let's get the hell out of here. AFC North preview Dickie. Coming Wednesday in the main segment. If you missed it, go back, listen to the episode from this weekend. The roommate and I brought back Who Won the Internet, and we'll be doing that on Fridays. So Monday and Wednesdays, 8 o'clock here on YouTube. Like and subscribe at Sports Cave Live. Fridays, audio only for now. We're going to do video, but if you want to follow along at Biggest Puma on X.
Pretty young lady on this.
Biggest.Puma on Insta.
The underscore captain 210. I keep on forgetting the underscore.
You
Instagram.
Still working on that TikTok. Underscores. All right.
Still working.
Y'all be safe. Contribute if you can. CommunityFoundation.net. We'll see you again Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. Peace.
Peace.
Kids, what do we say about drugs?
Only thugs use drugs. Say no to drugs.
Yeah!